Hi guys, you're very welcome to my channel. For today's video, I'll be taking you through beginner's guide to flawless makeup. I start off with cleansing the face or using wipes. You just want to make sure your face is clean. Then using the Dot and Key probiotics moisturizer. Using a moisturizer is important for a softer plump skin and makeup applies a lot better too. For primer, the Wet n Wild Prime Focus Serum and Makeup Revolution H2O Hydrate Primer are my fave. I'm using the Wet n Wild one because it's the one I trust the most. It's very hydrating and a hydrating primer is the best option to go for. The colorbar flawless finish primer and elf poreless putty primer are very good. I'm using the elf because it's again my trusty. The aim is to really blur out the pores for a smoother makeup application after some hydration, of course. Then I like using the tiniest amount of color corrector because this way you will be seeing zero grayness by the end of my makeup, but this is an optional step for beginners. I'm using the pack 219 brush from Nykaa. I love this brush for concealer and color corrector blending. It fits in all the tiny spots and blends my concealer perfectly. Then for foundation, Maybelline Fresh Tint and the Sugar Cosmetics Ace of Face foundation stick are amazing. I am using the sugar one mixed with small amount of Maybelline Fit Me foundation because it's a bit light for me. But if you want an easy coverage, you can go with a skin tint. Pick up some foundation on the pack 265 brush, then tap the excess off on a cleaner surface to make sure I'm not using too much at once. That way the base will look too cakey, and also warm up the product with your fingers on the palette for an even application. Make sure it's all blended. Then using the lagirl Pro Conceal concealer in beautiful bronze as my cream bronzer, and again warm up that product on the palette. It really makes a difference. Again tapping the excess off and start applying little by little and build as you want. I'm using the pack 247 brush. Blending with the foundation brush again makes it all even. Now I'm using the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch blush in Believe. It's truly pigmented, so going in sparingly but truly a gorgeous product. I use the Wet n Wild P65 brush all the time. It's the best size and blends so evenly. Also I really love blush, so I put a lot, but you do you. Again make sure to blend with the foundation brush and make sure there's no excess foundation on it. With any extra product left on the brush, I put it on my lids. Now I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, the best drugstore concealer, and I like doing concealer after blush and bronzer because it cleans all the excess product but also makes my blush look pretty natural, like we're glowing from within. I'm using the same pack 219 brush I used for my color corrector. Really love this brush and recommend it for beginners. Then using the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder with a puff for the perfect blurred out skin. I take powder on puff and tap the excess off to avoid going in with too much, and also make sure to blend last time before setting because you don't want to set the creases. I just set my T-zone. I have very oily skin, so I have to set my face with some powder. For powder bronzer, I use the Rimmel London Natural Bronzer. I like using powder for every cream product I used to amplify the makeup and make it last longer. I use a loosely packed brush and also put some bronzer on the nose so that it's not the only bare part of your face. Then I'm using the Essence Cosmetics blush in Befitting. I would recommend for beginners to use a more soft blush shade rather than a bright shade to make it easy and focus the brush on the exact area. I used the cream blush for eyeshadow Morphe Talkin' Flirty palette, Nykaa Tinsel Twilight palette, NYX Ultimate Edit palette, and the best is elf Bite Size palette. These are great options recommended by me, but to make it the simplest, I use the same powder, bronzer and blush combination on the eyes, and this will also tie the entire look together since it's on our cheeks. Just using the same loose powder to brighten the lids, but you can skip this step. Make sure it's all blended seamlessly. Then I'm using the Wet n Wild Color Icon eyeliner for really delicate wings on only the outer corners. It really lifts the face for a snatched look, but it does take some practice, and it's easier to use a pencil rather than a liquid liner. Then just blend a little and set with the powder bronzer. Always curl your lashes. It makes a huge difference, but it can look scary to beginners, so ease your way into it. I'm using the Essence Curl and Hold mascara. Now I'm using the same eyeliner on my lips to line. I think everyone figures out the most suitable lip lining shape for themselves. It just needs some practice. Now I'm using the Maybelline Color Sensational lipstick in Nude Nuance, and a great tip is to use a clean sharp brush to clean any weird lines formed. Then last but not least, I use the e.l.f. lip lacquer in Bubbles. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial and found it helpful. For more makeup mania, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.